Hello, my name is Joe Weisenbaker. Since 2015 I've been enrolled in Medicare, and since 2016 I've been working as a volunteer with Georgia Cares, helping Medicare beneficiaries better understand their health care options. Since early 2018 I've been focusing on working around Medicare drug plans and trying to figure out how to help beneficiaries make the best decisions about those plans. Since you are watching this video, I assume you've already figured out that you want to obtain a copy of the PC application I've written to improve on the functionality of the Drug Plan Finder, especially the new Plan Finder that becomes Medicare's only tool for this as of October 1st. The program I've written, called New DPS Helper, exists as a compile Python 3.7 program that uses Selenium to help extract and manipulate information from the new Drug Plan Finder. It relies on an interface to the Chrome browser and so requires that you have the most up-to-date version of Chrome on your desktop or laptop PC. As of September 22nd, 2019, that is version 77. Apart from program changes necessary to accommodate further changes to Medicare's Plan Finder, my program will have to be updated once Chrome moves beyond version 77. The program itself is copyrighted by me. However, I'm making it freely available for use by nonprofit agencies that seek to help people dealing with finding or using Medicare drug plans, whether those are Part D plans or part of Medicare Advantage plans. I think that SHIP programs around and their counselors are likely to be the primary users, and have written it up to take advantage of the skills that such folks will already have in using the Plan Finder. The only people that may not use my program without securing approval are those who work as professionals selling drug plans to Medicare beneficiaries or organizations that employ people who do that. Anyone this applies to should contact me directly at my email address, weisenbaker99@gmail.com, to obtain a license. I'm distributing my program via links to it and its documentation available in my Google Drive. If you don't yet have a link to the file there that has a full set of links, I would be happy to email that to you if you contact me at the email address I've given. Alternatively, I'm experimentally posting that link on my Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/thegrumpyretiree. So, I'm going to demonstrate that way of getting the initial link through my Facebook page. So I'm bringing up the Chrome browser, and I'm going to, because I've been there so many times, the link I've got there to my Facebook page. And I'm going to kind of compress things here so that it's more possible to see what's going on as I scroll things down to the topmost posting that I have pinned there for the time being. So here we have my post about this, the link to the files, indexing links to my program and its documentation. So I'm just going to click on that link, and what happens is that my browser loads the file that link relates to, and here it is. So here we have it. There are 4 sets of links here to files in my Google Drive. The first link is to the program itself. The other 3 links are to PDF files that have to do with documenting its use. and illustrating that. All right, so I'm going to show how this process can work. So I'm going to highlight that first link. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it in a new tab window. So what you can see here is that this link opens up my program file, though it's a very funny file at the moment. Unlike most program files, this one is, for the time being anyway, called new DPS helper.txt. Now, the reason it's called .txt and not .exe is because there's some bizarre screening device built into Google Drive that if I go ahead and call this and end it with .exe, it screens it and it decides that there's something about it that might violate the terms of their use agreement, which it actually doesn't. I've had different bits and pieces of this up there as .exe files, and Google Drive is perfectly happy with them. But once I put them all together, something about the way it scans files made it upset. So I have this workaround. The file is there as a .txt file, which is why when you open it up, you see this bizarre set of characters running along here. It's not worth going down into and looking at any more of it. Rather, what you want to do is to download it. And to download it, you have to go to this little icon up here to the upper hand right side of the page, which is download icon, and click on the download icon. And at that point, it starts to download the file. The file is somewhere on the order of 14.6 megabytes in length, and it contains everything you need apart from the Chrome browser itself. Now, the download is done, so what I'm going to do is just simply close this browser out altogether. I don't need it anymore. And what I'm going to do is open up my File Explorer window. Now, the default for downloads is to download them to the Downloads folder. So I've opened that, and what you can see there is that my particular folder is set up to show things by date to begin with, and of course, this being the newest thing I've put there, you can see as today, here's the file, new DPS helper.txt. Alright, now here comes the tricky part. You just click once on that, pause, click again on it, and it opens up things so that you can edit the name of your file. Usually, people are editing the part to the left of the dot. We're going to click to the right, back up, erasing the TXT part, and replacing it with EXE, designating it as an executable file. Now, this renaming convention of changing file extensions I should say, brings up this little warning window. It says, hey, your file might become unusable if you want to do this. Well, actually, we want it to be a .exe file, so we simply click on yes, and there you have it. So a simple bit of editing the name. Now, at this point, you can move it to any other folder on your PC. You should probably confer with your site system person to see where it should best be stored. They may have a protocol for this and may even want you to satisfy them that the program is not in any way malicious. They're welcome to contact me at my email address, weisenbaker99@gmail.com, with any questions about this. Now, you or they should create a shortcut to the program that can be placed on your PC's desktop to facilitate using it. So I'm going to right-click on this without moving it anywhere. Of course, on your machine, you should have probably already gotten it placed into whatever folder or whatever drive is appropriate for your situation. So if you right-click on it, one of the options that it should have available is this one to create a shortcut. And there you go. That's the shortcut to the program. And you'll notice the shortcut itself is very tiny. It's actually less than 1 kilobyte in length, whereas as you can see here, the program itself is almost 15,000 kilobytes, or about 15 megabytes. So if you take this shortcut and simply move it to your desktop, that should put you in a position where you can then make use of it. Now, I've already got a shortcut very like that, named the same, so I'm going to skip it for the moment. I think it went ahead and did it anyway. Oh well, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just double click this, and this being the very first time that this program has been run on this PC, you'll get this warning message. What you should do in response to it, since it's worried you might be putting your PC at risk, is click on the More Info option here, and it says a few things about it. And down here, the critical thing, run anyway. So if you click on that, it's going to open up a console window, which is this big black thing that just popped up here. And in a few seconds, it's going to open up the initial menu for working with the program. Now, I'm not going to carry this out. The documentation for moving things along past this point is available in through those other links that I've got in the linking document. You can see here briefly that it accommodates several things. For one thing, it will accommodate whether you're doing a plan search involving this year or next year. At the moment, I am speculating that what Medicare's Plan Finder will do to accommodate the 2020 data will probably just be involved in clicking on a little pop-up there in their own Plan Finder. The old one was a little bit more complex, but I may have to change my program to accommodate something if it's a little different from the way I'm anticipating. The other thing down here is you get to choose the type of search you are to facilitate using my tool. There are three options. A plan search based on a selected pharmacy, which is actually the traditional way that the old Plan Finder worked. And actually, it's the way the new Plan Finder works, except for one thing. It doesn't the new Plan Finder doesn't compute and make use of total estimated annual cost associated with using a particular plan, which is something that involves the estimated cost for the drugs at your selected pharmacy under that plan, along with the plan premium. To be honest with you, I don't know why they chose to leave that option out, but This option exists to overcome that problem. And if you run the program with the Plan Finder and you use this option, at the very end it will give you a sorted list of plans available to you based on their total cost. As it stands now, the only things you can ask the Plan Finder to sort plans on are the amount of their annual deductible, the amount of their premium, and the estimated cost of drugs. And the sad thing is that to find, for most people, the most optimal plan for them, they would otherwise have to do a lot of arithmetic to put together the plan premium information together with the drug cost information, and do that for almost all of the available plans. And I think in the Athens area there's something like 23 of those. At that point you can say, okay, I can figure out which plan is going to give me the total least cost, or least total cost. This will cause the program to extract that information, do the calculation, and sort the results and present them to you based on that. It creates a short text report reporting on what the lowest cost plan is for the pharmacy you've selected, and it produces a couple of files that'll be on your computer that will be useful for seeing details about all the possible plans you might use with that pharmacy and the costs associated with them. Now, the other two search options here, the middlemost one is for finding, if you are already enrolled in a plan, the best pharmacy in your area to use. I know, a radical thought, but one I have found extremely useful in my own case, and also something I found helpful as I deal with folks outside of open enrollment. The third option is the most comprehensive. It's a plan pharmacy search intended for use either with people newly enrolling in Medicare and signing up for their first drug plan, or people during open enrollment who are going to look at what might be their best options for next year. The first of these, the plan search for a selected pharmacy, will take, once you start the program, about 12 seconds. The second one will take roughly about 12 seconds multiplied by the number of pharmacies over which you want to search. And the third one takes usually somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds per pharmacy, and multiplied by the number of pharmacies you're looking over. So these different ways of using the program obviously take a lot different time. Now, the last major selection here is on how many pharmacies to look at. The Plan Finder brings up pharmacies in screens of 10 based on your zip code. The first 10 will be the pharmacies that it thinks are closest to the middle of your zip code. The next 10 are the next 10 further out. The next 10 after that would bring you to the 30 closest pharmacies to your zip code. Making choices here determines, in many respects, how fast the program executes if you've chosen to do one of the last two types of searches. The bottom option here, actually it's two options, one to make things go faster, the other to make things go slower, have to do with how fast the program, in essence, scrolls through the plan results pages. It turns out that the way that Medicare has rewritten their Plan Finder, the information for in the results section for plans that don't appear visually right in front of you, actually aren't there yet. So to force the Plan Finder search engine to offer up that information, you have to scroll through it. Actually, you don't have to scroll through it. My program scrolls through it. And once you get to the point where you're making use of this, having acquainted yourself with the documentation for exactly how to use it, and with your knowledge of how to make use of the Medicare Drug Plan Finder in its new form, this will all be self-explanatory. Okay, I think that's it. If you have questions, feel free to email me. I'm at Weisenbaker, that's WISENBAKER 99 @gmail.com. I hope this proves to be as helpful for you in your work with Medicare beneficiaries as I found it to be. You're now in a much better place to help any of your folks that you work with make their best decisions about Medicare drug plans. Whether those drug plans be Part D plans or whether they be components of Medicare Advantage plans. So, have a good time with it. Don't hesitate to email me. I'll be happy to respond to any questions you might have. All right. Thank you for your attention.